right? First Industrial Revolution, coal. And towards the end of 19th century, the importance of oil was discovered. Great Britain had enough coal. Sheffield was one of the important coal producing locations. But towards the end of 19th century, Germany had its own coal mines, huge coal mines. So using that coal, Germany could produce steel, which later began to be used for weapon making, right? Very important. But if you read this book, right after World War I broke out, Winston Churchill began to realize the importance of oil. Oil began to quickly replace coal right after World War I broke out. I think the rise of oil as a new energy, I think, drastically changed 19th century geopolitics. Therefore, all these important locations, geographical locations began to shift as well. So the rise of oil, we need to think about that, right? The impact of the rise of oil for geopolitics in the 19th century. World War I, World War II. Why, Western ally defeated German and Russian ally because of oil. Because of oil. America was on the anti-German side, and later America was an important supplier of oil to anti-German allies. So that the rise of oil, and the Ottoman Empire began to break up. So Middle East detached. So first, when the Ottoman Empire began to break up and the Middle East began to be independent, European countries began to infiltrate into Middle East, right? And divide and rule, because Middle East was discovered to be a huge deposits of oil resources. So this is how kind of modern day like a scrambling for oil began in the Middle East. There were two stages. The first stage, European countries, I think, took control of Middle East oil in the first stage. But America began to replace European countries, right? A little bit late participation in Middle Eastern scrambling for oil, but America began to occupy Middle East, and European countries began to lose. Now, this will be important implications for different European and Asian international relations after World War II. Very important impact for different World War II, post-World War II international relations in Europe and in Asia. In Europe, European countries after World War II lost Middle Eastern oil and gas resources. Instead, European countries began to collaborate with Russia. So half for Middle Eastern oil and gas resources, and the other half for Russian oil and gas resources. This is European Cold War kind of energy geopolitics. Asia was totally different. Korea, Japan didn't have any supply relationship with Russia. Okay, unlike in Europe. So the Russian continent, Russian oil and gas resources, Eastern Siberia, Sakhalin, detached from Asia Pacific countries. Instead, Asia Pacific countries almost 100% depended on Middle Eastern oil and gas resources. No. Because of this, another strait I have to mention. The Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. Again, very narrow strait. One-third of the world's strategic oil supplies pass through this narrow strait. Okay? So oil and gas produced out of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, okay, must pass this strait, then out to the Indian Ocean, then pass this, right, Malacca Strait, then moving to the ports in Korea and Japan. This is lifeline, right? So the route beginning Strait of Hormuz, Indian Ocean, passing Strait of Malacca, then another important region, East China Sea. This is South China Sea. This is East China Sea. So passing South China Sea, East China Sea, then South Korea, Japan. This is the route. So South Korea, Japan, especially for these two countries, this route has long been a lifeline because South Korean, Japanese dependence on Middle Eastern supplies almost 100%. Very different from Europe. Europe is not like this, right? As I mentioned. Europe had Russia. But South Korea, Japan did not have any supplies from Russia. This is the outcome of kind of post-World War II kind of building. Very unique, and it was a bargain between the US and Japan and South Korea after World War II, America was telling Japanese government, you don't have to worry about your energy security. Okay? Telling South Korea, you don't have to worry about your energy security. Do not construct any supply lines with Russia. Okay? You don't have to worry about your energy security. Do not build any infrastructure linking to Russia. We will protect you. Okay? We will protect you. How? America will protect this lifeline through US Navy. This was the deal. So America protected, making sure nothing happens in the Strait of Hormuz, okay? nothing happens there are many pirates here, this region. Okay, making sure no pirate attacks on commercial ships. To do that, America spent $500 billion per year for 40 years after World War II. For 40 years, or more than 40 years. So, $500 billion, which is equivalent to American yearly trade deficit. Think about that. American trade deficit amount, American naval operation cost for China, Korea, Japan, same. So a lot of money was put into this lifeline protection. Obviously, America benefited because, as I said, why did America construct Panama Canal early 20th century? Just because of this. Doing trade with Asia Pacific countries. That's the goal of Panama Canal. So early on, before America participated in the Pacific trade, first they built this canal first, okay? Built this canal first, then doing trade and making sure, because factories are in South Korea. Factories are in Japan. Those factories were manufacturing goods for the US market after World War II. So China a little bit late, but first Japan, South Korea, Singapore, right? Taiwan, those Asia Pacific countries were manufacturing bases for the US economy. Right? Manufacturing bases. So a lot of factories built here, and here, some over here. So those are manufacturing bases for the US economy. And canal will be very useful for this trade, right? And these factories require energy, right? Those factories require energy, and those energies will be supplied by Middle East under US protection. This was the deal. And the message to those countries from the US was, you don't have to worry about energy issue. You just produce, okay? Right, that was the message. And do not build anything linking to Russia, because Russia is dangerous, right? This was the deal. This was the deal. And Europeans, different, because Europeans depended on Middle East a little bit, but they built some route to Russia as well. Okay, some regional connection, I think survived in Europe, but no regional connection made in the Asia Pacific. So European kind of international relations, Asia Pacific international relations, US European relations, US Asian relations, that's how they are different. That's how they are different, right? By nature. So, 19th century geopolitics, energy geopolitics, 20th century energy geopolitics. 20th century energy geopolitics, designed by the US, led by the US. right? That's 20th century energy geopolitics. It is based on oil, mostly. 19th century, mostly based on coal. Okay? Germany, self-sufficient. British, self-sufficient on coal. Germany triggered World War I, World War II because they have enough resources, coal resources, domestic coal resources. Okay, through that they could produce weapons. But right after World War I, oil rise in importance. Germany could not adapt to that, right? Because of that, Germany defeated. It's not any deterministic explanation, but important factors. Now, 20th century energy geopolitics, America did not produce enough. Okay? America let Middle East produce. America just protected using Navy, the route. Okay? America protected route, but America did not produce on their own. Okay? So manufacturing base was Asia, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, Singapore. Those are manufacturing base. Middle East was supplier of oil and gas. US, protector. Right? This is 20th century. Now, this 20th century energy geopolitics began to change, as you all know, right? Began to change. This is important. So this conventional landscape of 20th century energy geopolitics began to shift, I think around 2010. Around 2010. It coincides with the rise of China. Because China began to consume unexpected amount of oil and gas. China. This is one of the reasons why 20th century landscape began to change, because China consumed too much. So 20th century system could not sustain, okay, Chinese consumption. That's one reason. Second reason, so China consumption, okay, Chinese consumption. That's the first reason. Second reason, America began to produce. We call this shale gas revolution. In other words, 20th century America depended on Middle East, okay? But now, America no longer has to do that. Because America is self-sufficient. Discovered huge resources in America, which is enough for 100 years maybe. So the importance of Middle East drastically reduced. Therefore, what you see today, chaos here, right? Iran is attacking Saudi oil fields and kidnapping some of the ships passing strait. So this is a huge problem for South Korea and Japan. Huge problem. And President Trump, because this is America first. They put America first. So America is lifting conventional protection of this route. Then what happens? Right? So Trump is telling South Korea to pay for yourself, telling Japan, right? On your own cost, import Middle East. This is a problem for South Korea and Japan. this is kind of some inklings of 21st century energy geopolitics. 21st energy geopolitics. Maybe Middle East no longer top supplier. Maybe America will be top number one supplier of both oil and gas. Huge change and political chaos in the Middle East. Then, what should South Korea do? What should Japan do? Maybe Russia is nearby. South Korea, Japan will look to Russia as an alternative source of oil and gas supply. That's one kind of development. So reducing Middle Eastern imports, developing alternative sources, like in Europe, such as Russian oil and gas supplies, and obviously U.S. American oil and gas supply will be very important, attractive diversification for both South Korea and Japan. We'll begin at 12 Friday. Friday 12. So when you come